Hello friends, in unit 3 up till now we have had a brief look at what commercial correspondence is. We also talked about the 4 C's of effective commercial correspondence. We talked about correctness and conciseness in detail. Today we are going to discuss clarity, right? What do we mean by clarity? Clarity means there should not be any ambiguity. What you are saying and or what you are trying to communicate through correspondence, that should be very very clear to the receiver of the correspondence, right? And to ensure that your correspondence is clear, it has clarity, what you can do is, apart from going through today's session, you can refer to your notes about how to make effective presentation or how to communicate effectively, and the things that we have discussed there, most of those things would be applicable here also, because whenever you are corresponding with somebody else, you are in a way communicating with that person, right? So let us talk about clarity in little detail today. Simple words, you have to use simple words. I hope you remember in effective presentation also we said that you should use simple words. Don't use very difficult words or very bombastic words. Use as simple words as possible. You can at times use complicated words, but that would happen only when the receiver of your correspondence has prior knowledge of those technical terms that you are using. For example, if you are a doctor and maybe you have sent a commercial correspondence to a fellow doctor, you may use medical terminologies because the other person, the receiver of the correspondence, he also understands these terminologies. But if you are sending across this commercial correspondence to a patient who probably would not be able to understand these medical terminologies, you have to use simple words, right? So use simple everyday words which you have been using in your day-to-day life. For example, incombustible, something that cannot be burnt, is called incombustible. The root word you would be able to understand from your knowledge of word power made English. Combustion means burning. So incombustible means something that cannot be burnt. An easier version of this word or an easier synonym could be fireproof. So rather than saying it is incombustible, you can simply say it is fireproof. That would be easier for the receiver of the correspondence to understand. Optimum. Optimum means best. Substantiate. The easier version is proof. Substantiate your arguments. Prove your arguments. Terminate. The process was terminated. Rather than saying that, you can simply say the process was ended. So it would be easier for the receiver of the correspondence to understand what you are trying to communicate. Utilize. Simply use this particular word. Use. Fine. So the easier words that you use, the more clear would be your communication and the more effective would be your correspondence. Make use of short sentences. I hope you remember our discussion in the last session also, where we talked about conciseness or brevity. There also we said make use of shorter sentences, because shorter sentences are easy for the other party to understand. They are more comprehensible. They are easy for them to understand, right? And that is why I had also shared a few tips with you also, how to make your sentences short. Let me go back a little just to make you recall whatever we had discussed there. Use short phrases. Don't use unnecessary modifiers. For example, new is of no use here. And include only relevant details. So this is how you can make your correspondence concise. And why is that required? That is required because conciseness lends clarity to your correspondent. It makes it easy for the other party to understand. It makes your views absolutely clear and the other party is able to understand them as you intend them to understand it, right? So this is why you have to be very very clear. Make short sentences. And to make short sentences, one more technique that you can use is you can use active form. I hope you remember active and passive voice. You might have read this in class 10th and 11th and 12th as well. Active voice here, please understand, we place the order, and when we convert it into passive voice, it becomes the order was placed by us. Please understand, in general, active sentences in active voice would be shorter than sentences in the passive voice. Now you know this. Active voice, here you see the sentence only has 4 words, while passive voice the sentence would have had 6 words. So naturally, if you want to make your sentences shorter, to make them clearer, you have to use active voice. I played football is active voice, and football was played by me is passive voice. So rather than saying football was played by me, or the cake was eaten by me, you should say I played football, I ate the cake. Use proper punctuation. Now this is very important. The punctuation that you use, and I hope you recall that we had discussed various punctuation marks that we use in the first semester also. So the punctuation that you use, it has to be exactly correct. You should use them according to the requirement. You should not use a question mark instead of a full stop, or a full stop in place of a comma. So make use of proper punctuation. Then avoid vague phrases. What do we mean by vague phrases? Vague phrases mean which do not give the reader a clear-cut idea as to what you want to say. For example, he has a high score in the first semester exams. Now what do we mean by high score? For somebody, student, there are so many students in your class who don't study. For them high score is 62%. Then there are some who are relatively sincere, for them it is 75. Then there are ones who want to really do well and really have a great career ahead of them. So for them high score is 90%. So what do you mean by high score? So don't say high score. What do you say? You say 90% marks or 85% marks. Unfavorable weather conditions. Because of unfavorable weather conditions, I could not come to the class. Be more specific. You can say because of rain, because of flooding, I could not come, because of hailstorm, ओलों की बरसात. In due course, I will complete the assignment in due course. What do you mean by in due course? You be very specific. In 2 months, in 2 days, in a week, by Wednesday, by Saturday. So you have to be very, very specific. Then plant. Many times most of the people who do not belong to the management domain, they don't understand. If you use the word plant, for us, plant means a factory where some manufacturing is taking place. But for them, they may not be able to understand. And if you are corresponding with this kind of an individual, make use of the word factory. Be consistent in use of units. Now have a look. He weighs 70 kilogram. Here the unit is kilogram. Here the unit is pound. Now the reader would not be able to get an idea as to who is heavier, he or she. Again, so this is not the right kind of usage. What you should do is this. He weighs 70 kilogram while she weighs 44 kilogram. Either use kilogram in both the places, or you can use pounds in both the places. So this is how you can be more clear. Otherwise the reader does not understand who is heavier. Fine. Now let us move over to the fourth, the final C, which is courtesy. Now courtesy means make use of courtesy words. Please, thank you, sorry. So we thank you for ensuring timely delivery of our ordered items. Would you please let us know? So I am just giving examples of how you have to use these words in your correspondence. We are extremely sorry for the inconvenience caused to you because of delayed delivery of products from our side. So this is how you have to use these words in your commercial correspondence. If you are finding something a little difficult to understand, you should go back to that particular time in the video and then replay the video, right? So this is what you have to do, because I might be moving a little fast. Now, second thing, apart from using courtesy words, you have to use courtesy titles. Mr., Miss. Now please understand, this is not Miss, this is Ms. Ms is used when you do not know, when you are addressing a female but you do not know whether she is married or not. So rather than saying Miss, M-I-S-S, or Mrs., which is used for married women, you use the word Miss. Miss means you do not have any idea whether the lady with whom you are corresponding, she is married or not. So you use the word Miss, and is not pronounced as Miss, it is pronounced as Ms. Then Sir, Madam. And I told you, if you are writing to this Chief Minister or the Governor or the President or the Prime Minister, you should not write Dear Sir. You should write Honorable Chief Minister Sir, Honorable Governor Sir, Honorable Prime Minister Sir, or Honorable Chief Minister Madam, right? So you have to use these courtesy titles. Use courteous sentence formation. The sentence formation should be very, very courteous. Now have a look at this, and you would recall that I had already discussed this in the first semester also. We appreciate your prompt response to our query. आपने हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स को फटाफट सॉल्व किया, हमारे क्वेश्चनों को जल्दी आंसर दिया. So we thank you for that. Thank you for your prompt response. Now this is another way of saying this. Both are equally okay. We would appreciate if you could expedite the delivery of the ordered goods. Rather than saying please expedite the delivery, we are saying we would appreciate if you could please expedite the delivery of the ordered goods. Would you kindly look into the matter? Rather than saying please look into the matter, we are saying would you be kind enough to look into the matter? You are requested to look into the matter. Another way of saying the same thing. So we are not saying look into the matter. We are not ordering somebody. So we are being very courteous. We regret your inconvenience. We are not saying sorry for the problem caused to you. We are saying we regret your inconvenience. That we are very sorry for the inconvenience caused to you. Or we are sorry to learn that you are inconvenienced because of our defective products or our delayed supplies. This is to bring to your kind notice. Sir, I am going out of time. Please grant me 1 day leave. Instead of that, what you have to write? Sir, this is to bring to your kind notice that because of some urgent work, I am required to be out of town for 2 days. So kindly. So this is how you have to use courteous sentence formation. Kindly provide us an update. Don't say please let me know please send me your rate list. We are saying kindly provide us an update rate list at your earliest convenience. What do we mean by earliest convenience? आपसे जितना जल्दी संभव हो पाए, आराम से जितनी जल्दी संभव हो पाए, यानी in a way we are saying that as early as possible, but don't be too worried about it. Do it at your convenience. अपनी तरफ से convenient होके करिएगा, right? So this is using courteous sentence formation. You have to be very courteous in your sentence formation. Would you kindly allow us to? Sir, please let us go. Would you kindly allow us to go? This is how you have to write. We regret to state that we would not be able to entertain. So somebody has requested you something. You cannot simply say you have requested 2 days leave. The teacher cannot simply tell you I can't grant you. He should ideally tell you we regret to inform you that as per the rules we would not be able to allow you any relaxation in this regard. So we regret to state that we would not be able to. So basically this sentence is telling the receiver that we are not granting you your request. Whatever you requested, we are not able to provide it to you, but we are sorry for that also. So we are regretting that also, right? So this is what we mean by courtesy. And the most important part, respond promptly to letters and emails. So if you are getting a letter, be prompt in your response. Don't delay your response by, let's say, 2 weeks, 2 months. Try to be as prompt as possible. Try to be as prompt as possible to your emails. Respond to them as fast as possible. Fine. So this is what we mean by courtesy. In the next session that we'll talk about how to create an email account and use it. Thank you very much.